Now that more facts and context are available to us about Robert Card, the individual who murdered 18 people in Lewiston, Maine, it's troubling to see a recurring pattern of failure from the very institutions we entrust to keep us safe. Indeed, pretty much everyone knew Robert Card would be a mass shooter. And yet, government failed us. Police were first contacted by members of Robert R. Card's family on May 3, 2023, according to a statement issued by Sheriff Joel A. Mary. The family said that Mr. Card's mental health had started to decline in January. They were concerned for his well-being and said that Mr. Card had access to firearms. Card's family then assured our office that they would ensure that Card received medical attention, according to the release, which added, in addition, Mr. Card's unit sergeant shared his plan to speak with Card. In July of 2023, the U.S. Army classified Card as non-deployable due to concerns over his well-being. During live-fire training at a New York Army base, Card exhibited erratic behavior and made threats to shoot up a military base in Saco, Maine. Consequently, the U.S. Army determined that Robert Card shouldn't have a weapon or handle ammunition. The New York State Police took him to a military mental health facility where he admitted to hearing voices and threatening to kill people. Despite all of this, after just 2 weeks of treatment, Robert Card was released by public health officials to go home. In the following weeks, Army spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Ruth Castro said the Army Reserve Command had made multiple attempts to contact the reservists. Maine National Guard asked police to check on Card in mid-September out of concerns that he could snap and commit a mass shooting. Remarkably, the details of Robert Card being a potential mass shooter were identified by MIAC, a program of the Maine Department of Public Safety that collects, analyzes, and shares intelligence between the federal government and the state of Maine. This should have triggered FBI involvement and, at the very least, a federal firearms disqualification, preventing Card from obtaining any new additional firearms. Saginaw County Sheriff Joel Mary said in a statement that, in 2 occasions in September, a deputy could not find the reservist at his home in Bowden, prompting a statewide alert. The alert included a warning that Mr. Card was known to be armed and dangerous and included details of his behavior. The alert urged that officers use extreme caution, according to Sheriff Mary. And in a shocking blow to the corporate media's attempts to vilify gun store owners, the employees of a local gun store may have prevented even more carnage. In August of 2023, Card's attempt to acquire a suppressor he had ordered from a local gun store was denied due to his response to a question on the FFL background check regarding his history of being committed to a mental health facility. In the case of Robert Card, existing laws, diligent local gun store employees, and the federal firearms background check prevented him from purchasing additional tactical gear for his firearms. This is a story of senseless murder. It's also a story of the comprehensive failure of government, the United States Army, the Maine National Guard, New York State Police, public health officials, the FBI, the Maine Department of Public Health Safety, Maine State Police, and local sheriffs all failed to protect us from a man they knew was deeply troubled and a clear and present danger of becoming a mass shooter. On October 25, 2023, Robert Card murdered 18 people and injured 13 others at a bowling alley and a local bar before committing suicide in an empty tractor trailer in the yard of the recycling plant where he was recently employed. In death, Robert Card may have left us the most prescient suicide note about mass shooters. When someone tells us through word or deed that their life and the lives of others are worth nothing more than trash to be recycled, we should probably do something. So where is the outrage at our government agencies who failed to protect us? Why not demand new laws to hold law enforcement and public health officials accountable in the cases of mass shootings? Rather than praising the hundreds of law enforcement officials who spent 3 days hunting down Robert Card, What if we tasked a small team of healthcare workers and pastors to intervene in Mr. Card's life before he became an infamous mass shooter? Here's the truth. The vast majority of mass shooters suffer from mental illness. 87% of surviving mass shooters had misdiagnosed or incorrectly treated or undiagnosed and untreated psychiatric illness, according to a systematic study of mass shooters. Pretty much everyone knew Robert Card would become a mass shooter. So do we need more stringent gun laws? Or do we need to prioritize better mental health care? Until we realize that the gun is just a tool and that the soul is the source of violence, we will remain trapped in this maddening cycle of lunacy. If we want to prevent mass shootings, we must work to resolve the soul violence that causes people to choose murder and suicide over the sanctity of life. That's today's Cosmic Reckoning. I'm Brian Tuttimore, and remember, think right to live free.